So Thomas Tuchel is experiencing the same mid-season slump as many other managers before. So, is it time for a change? Welcome to the Burton Ballers. Ain't got no time for no stallers, yeah.
We are the risers, we're not the fallers. Our channel is growing wider and taller.
Yeah, we're here to give you the news about your dear beloved Blues, yeah.
So if you like this YouTube channel, like, subscribe and turn on that bell.
Yeah. So guys, my intro, many people probably thinking, this guy's reactionary. Why is he calling for the manager to be changed? No, it's not the manager I'm calling to be changed, but I'm talking about, is it time that our board look at a different approach? Got you there though, didn't I? Right, okay, so what do I mean by a different approach? We have, for years, since Roman Abramovic has taken over actually, we've been this team who've only kept a manager for about three years. I think the most we've kept a manager, Jose Mourinho, in his first spell. And I think his second spell, he was there for 3 years, I think. But since then, I don't think no manager has lasted over 3 years at Chelsea. So what we've had is... It's brought a success though, because Chelsea are the most successful team in the Premier League. Or no, since Abramovich took over, we've won the most trophies. But the one that we want more than anything else, the one that settles, I know the Champions League, a lot of people are saying, we've won that twice, but what the bread and butter, the one that proves that you are the creme de la creme over 38 matches, the one that tests your endurance, the one that tests your skill, the one that is there to test your character, the Premier League, that is the one. That's the one for me, you know, that we should be winning. The Champions League for the plaudits, yeah, I get that. But at the end of the day, that is a cup competition, and you can have a bit of luck in that competition to win it as well. But for me, the Premier League over a course of a season shows that you are the best team in the land. So the thing is, the alarming thing is that, does this method kind of work? Because, we've won 5 Premier Leagues since Abramovich has been here, as I said before. But the longest we've ever been without the Premier League has been 5 years. We haven't gone for over 5 years without winning it. But this time, it's going to be 6 years. So this is the longest period we've been without a Premier League title in Abramovich's era. So now he needs to look at everything. Is this hiring and firing a good way for sustained success? A cup here and a cup there isn't really going to cut it. And let's be honest, apart from Real Madrid, I think they're the only team to have won back-to-back Champions Leagues. So teams don't usually win that back-to-back. So, are we going to be happy just to win domestic cup competitions, become a cup team? And that's what we used to do before Abramovich came. We were a very good cup team, and we did have history before Abramovich came. We were a very good cup team, and just before Abramovich came, I think we won about 4 cups. The FA Cup a couple of times, the Cup Winners' Cup, the League Cup. So we were winning cups, but we were finishing, just inside or just outside the top 4, and we've moved on since then. So, what needs to change? We need to get a manager. We've got a good manager in Thomas Tuchel. We need to start backing this manager now and getting in players with the right personality, the right characteristics, who can play his style of football. At the moment, what we're seeing is we're still seeing people from Jose Mourinho's days. We've got Azpilicueta, he was there when Jose Mourinho was there. We've got Alonso, who used the style of football under Thomas Tuchel. Okay, we play with a 3 under Conte, so we do play with a 3 at the back now. So he's specific to a wing back role. But the thing is, we've had him for so long. He's not that great now anyway. So it's time that he needs to move on. we've got Jorginho, who's specifics to a certain style of football that Sarri brought in, this possession-based type of football. And so is he hampering our style a bit? And I'm not knocking it, I think he's been decent, but the way we want to play, do we need a different profile of midfielder in there rather than a Jorginho type, for instance? So, and we still got, I think Kovačić was also bought under the Sarri when Sarri was here. But, Kova, I think, can adapt to the style of football that Tuchel wants to play. Thomas Tuchel has only brought in one player. So we've got Lampard's style of players. We've got Ziyech, who was brought in for a typical Frank Lampard style of football. And we also brought in Havertz. I don't think Havertz was someone requested by Havertz. I think it was a club signing, and Lampard had to find a way to put him into side. So Havertz, he's a funny one actually. He's a good player with a lot of quality, but what is his preferred position? Can we utilise him? We tried him as a false nine. It worked to an extent, but he's not clinical enough for me to be playing in that false nine role. Thiago Silva is another one bought by Lampard, but again, Thiago Silva has got the class and quality to play in any system. And Chilwell, again, is someone that is definitely suited for Tuchel's system. So, if you look at Pep Guardiola and what he's done at Manchester City, for instance, he's totally revamped that side. The only people I think he inherited are, I think De Bruyne was already there when he was there, Kyle Walker was there, and was there anyone else? I think that's it. Was Sterling there before? Or did he buy Sterling? I can't remember, but I think there's only 2 or 3 players who were there. And the first thing he did when he came there, if you remember, Joe Hart was a superb goalkeeper, but he couldn't play the ball with his feet. He was no good at playing the ball with his feet. So he made that tough decision straight away. He took out England's number 1 and he said, you know what? You can't play my style of football. So, sorry, guy, you got to go. He dropped Aguero until he learned how to do his pressing style of football. So, and some other players were out of the side. Yaya Toure, he went. Yaya Toure was one of their top players, so those difficult decisions were made really quickly. He brought in players, and now he's brought in these adaptable, flexible players, and that's why you see them flawless. But what Manchester City did before even Pep Guardiola came in, they paved the way for him to come in. They brought in 2 of the director of football, Texi, whatever, I can't remember his surname, and the other guy, again, sorry, I can't remember their names, but the 2 guys from Barcelona, they brought them in, and they were already buying players who they knew could fit into his style of football. So even if Pep does go now, Manchester City have got an identity. So the next manager coming in would be built in, he'll be brought in to play a similar style of football to the profile of player that they have already got at a club. Jurgen Klopp, again, I don't think there's the only players, probably, I think Milner was probably there before him. I think Firmino came at the tail end of Rodgers' tenure, and and there's probably another 1 or 2. I think there's probably only about 2 or 3 players again at Liverpool who were Henderson, I think, as well. They are the only ones who were there before he came along. And what he's done, he's brought in a certain profile of player again to suit his style of football. Rome wasn't built in a day, so these guys, Pep's now, you've seen 6 years he's been at Manchester City, and if you look at Klopp, he's been at Liverpool for 6-7 years, and both of them have built a team in their own image. We can't say that about Tuchel. Tuchel hasn't been able to build a team in his own image because we've got a hybrid of players from all different eras who are probably not used to his style of football. So we've got some who are more counter-attacking, like what we had for Conte's team. Some are more possession-based footballers. So just a mixture of different styles. And he's done well in getting them all to play as a unit. But the thing is, what happens is when things start to go wrong, then you see a lot of disjointed type of football. And the other thing the board didn't do, which they should have done, was where we are weak in the wing-back areas, and that's integral to the way that he wants to play. I'm sure that he said to them that he wanted a wing-back, because obviously we were linked with Hakimi, we were linked with Adama Traore, but the club differed in buying a player for that particular position, especially the right wing-back position. Now that Reece James is out, Azpilicueta is a bit older now. He's never been good at that wing-back role. I've always said it. So we just don't look the same when we've got those two wide men out. So what we need to do going forward, we need to scrap this hiring and firing and allowing the players to dictate everything. We got to trust the manager we've got in there. Let him get rid of some of these players. I don't care who the players are. If he wants to get rid of even if he wants to get rid of Lukaku, if he wants to get rid of a Pulisic, if he wants to get rid of a Werner, if he wants to get rid of Hudson-Odoi, if he wants to get rid of those guys to bring in players that he needs, just let him do it. Just let him get on with it. Get players to fit his profile, his personality, his style of football. Let's build an identity. But further to that, because we know that managers don't stick around. The next manager we do get, let's have him close to the style of football that Tuchel has introduced to the club, so that when he comes, it will be seamless. So it's not a totally different style of football that we'll then be playing with a different profile of player needed to play in that style. So let's get some good footballing people on the ball. We've got Petr Cech on there, which is a start. Let's get some good people on there who can give us an identity. And this identity thing has gone way back, because I remember just before we got Ancelotti, Ancelotti was meant to come, then he turned us down, and he did come eventually. But one thing he did say is that this club hasn't got an identity. We did have an identity actually, but then it kind of changed when Jose Mourinho went. And for me, that identity was, under Jose Mark 1, I thought we were a very good team. We were a powerful team with a powerhouse in midfield, Ballack, Lampard, Essien, people like that. But you know what happened? The press hoodwinked us, or hoodwinked Abramovic into saying that we don't play pretty football. And so what he did, the profile of footballer started to change, where he demanded these smaller technical players. And that's when we started to be less commanding, because from the big physical, they were still good technically, because Ballack was technical, Lampard was technical, Essien was technical, but they were powerful as well. That's why we were so dominant in those 2 seasons. But when the profile started to change, that's when we started to lose a bit of momentum. And so rather than winning, titles, we were just winning the odd title here and there. So it's a quick fix. Sometimes it works. Sometimes worked under Mourinho, Mark II. It worked under Conte, but this was never ever going to be sustainable for the long term. So I'm just hoping that now the board can get their act together. Let's start a long-term strategy. We've got a lot of good young players in there. Let's build a team around these young players, and then let's just get some good players, some world-class players to complement these young players. That was Jose Mourinho's plan. Not Jose Mourinho, that was Abramovic's plan all along, is to get lots of academy players coming through, because they're cheaper as well. They're not going to be expensive. They came through the club, and even their wages are not going to be as high as somebody coming in for big money. And then we can just get in the marquees, 2 or 3 marquees. And I'm sure that if we go down that route, we wouldn't have just the odd title here and there. We'll be challenging for the title season in, season out. So what do you think about it, guys? Stick your comments in the section below. I'll be happy to hear what you've got to say on this matter. All right then, so don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on all post notifications so you'll be notified every time we make a new video. So take care, bye-bye.